Welcome to the CoLab podcast series, brought to you by 𝗽sze, a law firm with an exclusive focus on entrepreneurship. In this podcast, we take you behind the scenes with some of today's most driven entrepreneurs, industry leaders, and innovators. We hope these conversations will not only inform but also inspire you on your own journey in business. Let's dive into today's episode.
Welcome, Liesbeth, to 𝗽sze. I'm beyond excited to invite you to this CoLab podcast series. My name is Olivier Van Raemdonck. I'm the managing partner of 𝗽sze, and I'm excited to welcome you as CEO of Biolizard. Maybe you can start with introducing Biolizard and your position within the company.
Yeah, sure. First of all, thanks a lot for the invitation. It's great being here. I'm indeed the CEO of Biolizard. Just about myself, I'm a vet by training, so I have more clinical background, not at all a data science background. Biolizard is a data science, data analytics and bioinformatics consulting company, and we mainly support biotech and pharma companies with their drug development, biomarker development, really starting from the data to improve and speed up the drug development.
Okay, nice. And what, because I assume that you're not the only one in the market doing data analytics for big pharma. What differentiates you from others, or why should we choose for Biolizard? I'm not acquainted at all with your sector, so.
Yeah. No, it's true. We're definitely not the only one in the market. It's a quite competitive field, but it's also because data, it's very important and there is a lot to do. So there is room for more players. How I see it, how we differentiate from other parties is, in essence, data science combined with biology, it's very complex. So data science on its own, it's already complex. Mm-hmm. But if you combine that with the biology within the biotech and pharma fields, you really need specific skills. So we always say we understand data and we speak biology. Okay. So data analytics on its own, it's already difficult, but if you really have to interpret the biological outcome and the clinical meaning, it's very complex, and that is where we really can help and make a difference.
And can you explain a bit about the history of the company, when it was founded, and where are you now in the evolution, and where are you heading to?
Yes, so it has been, it's a crazy road or trajectory that we had so far. So we were founded end of 2018. The company was operational since mid-2019, and I joined quite fast or quite soon after that. When I joined almost 5 years ago in November, 5 years ago, we were just with 5 people, including me. So we were very small. We had our offices in a house, meeting room in the kitchen. So really a startup mentality. And it was clear that there is a need, and there was a need in the market for what we do. But then the first full year, it was the COVID year, 2020, so it was quite tough. But we managed to grow, gaining new clients, increasing the personnel. And today, 5 years later, we're with 50 people, so it's a tenfold increase. We have over 90 clients in Europe, in US, so we have been tried quite nicely, and also from an expertise and solutions offering, we really have been grown. So we professionalized.
Interesting. And if you're a fast-growing company now with 50 people, what are your biggest challenges then until now?
It's of course, business development and always being innovative in the market or find new clients. That always will be a challenge, I think. Initially, we definitely, and we still have a product market fit, but of course, as said, it's a competitive field, so you have to stay ahead, hopefully, of the competition. So the go-to-market, the business development. On the other hand, the organization, 5 people compared to 50 people, it's a totally different organizational structure. So we're now really preparing for the future, make sure that the foundation is right, finding the right people, other profiles compared to the beginning. So that's quite challenging. It's doable, but it's challenging.
Yeah, and I assume you're in a specific niche. You need highly qualified people for your business. Do you still find the right people?
Yes, I think we're lucky that we have a good reputation, and definitely in Ghent, biotech, data science, it's quite advanced. So we have a lot of people coming to us to apply for a job. Where I see the challenge right now is more the scientific experience. It's crucial, but we are a consulting company, a customer-facing company. So finding that balance, that mix, it's sometimes hard.
And then it's a variety of of nationalities, I assume.
Yeah, true. I lost track, but I think we have 13 or 14 nationalities. Yeah, so we're quite a diverse company.
And do they then all work in Ghent, or they work remotely or on premise at the client? Or
so the majority is in the Ghent neighborhood. We have some people more closer to Brussels, and then in the Netherlands, in France, in Switzerland. So it's across Europe, let's say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're a spin-off of the U Ghent University?
We're not a spin-off, but two of the founders actually are professor at the Ghent University, so we have a link, but we're not a spin-off.
Okay.
No.
Well, that's interesting because that's one of my favorite type of transactions, working or enabling growth companies to get some support in the form of a tech transfer or a license from a research institution or university. How do you feel the relationship is between the university and your company, and what are the strengths, but what are also the complexities?
Yes, so from a legal point of view, there is no relationship, which may be good, of course. But the relationship is in a way that a lot of students from UGent come to us. So also sometimes, we give a course about biotech, about data science. So we have a good relationship. And we just finished a Bakeland mandate, so a Vlaio mandate, so that it was one of our lizards. He was doing a PhD at UGent, so that was a very nice collaboration. So there is a link, but not a legal one.
Yeah. And we all know that Ghent and Belgium is famous for biotech and has a pioneering role there. Do you think... If you look at the company now, do you think it would have been less easy to develop the company outside of Belgium, where this biotech stimulation is not that big, or doesn't it matter?
I think it does matter, but Ghent is indeed a great biotech hub, and we have access to quite some interesting companies. It's also a good ecosystem to operate in. Outside of Belgium, there are some other hubs, of course, and that's why we also started an office in Lausanne. So I think the Swiss biotech space is also very, very interesting. But being located in Ghent, I think it really helped us, to grow. Yeah.
And what if you look at the industry in itself of the biotech, which kind of accelerators do you see are missing now to bring our, let's say, Belgian companies to a greater level?
It's a good question. What I see, and probably not definitely for Belgium, but I think we need to focus on early data science, spending probably more money on the early stages, learn from data much faster. What we still see is that a lot of efforts and money goes to the later stages within the drug development. We strongly believe that if you invest early on, you can de-risk the process much faster and be much more efficient, kill your puppies sooner than later. So I think that is important. I don't say that we don't do it, but if we want to stay ahead as a biotech hub, I think we should, as companies, invest more in that.
And do you see a role for the government there, or is it more private investors that should take up that role?
Both, I think, but government for sure. Some incentives, I definitely think it could help. In a way, it's logical that biotech does not invest very fast or soon early on in data science, because you have to be careful, or you have to spend carefully your money. But if there are some investments or subsidies, it would be great. Of course, there are subsidies in Flanders, but it could and should be encouraged.
Yes, because I assume taking into account the level of expertise that you need, those are all high qualified people. The cost of remunerating those people is quite of a challenge, I think.
Yeah, true, absolutely.
It's taking a lot of the capital away that is invested in your company.
Yeah, true, absolutely. It's the people that is the highest cost, which is logical. A lot of them are PhD level, highly qualified. So true.
And looking at the past, what is the most important thing you're very proud of until now?
And actually, the entire trajectory that we did, or how should I say it? It's if I look back with 5 people where we are right now, I think it's very nice. But we also acquired quite some nice companies, clients, big names in the fields, big pharma, interesting emerging biotech. So that is very interesting. We also supported companies with their data science within drug development, diagnostic test, which is, for example, for one company, the diagnostic test is now on the market. We supported them with the entire model building, software development. So that's nice to see that was a success. Yeah.
And looking at the future, what is the one of the things you certainly still want to realize with Biolizard?
We're developing a software. We always will be a service solution company, but we really want to productize that and use a software to support our solutions offering. So for me, my main goal is making that a success, that it's really got adopted in the market and that clients will use it. Yeah.
Okay, nice. You told us that you're currently with 50. You have a lot of ambition, so I assume that you want to still grow in headcount and in revenues as well. How do you make sure that those people all stay on board? Do you have some tips and tricks for other entrepreneurs? Let's say at Cresco, I have the same challenge at Cresco. Yeah. We're 25. We want to scale it up to 30, maybe in the future still more. But it's a daily work to make sure that there is a certain family feeling, a certain culture that is in place that allows people to stay. Is that the same with you? What are your tips and tricks?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think keeping or maintaining a good culture, it's probably the most difficult thing, definitely when you're scaling. So we have values in place and we really stick to our values. And even during the recruitment process, we really challenge the applicants on their values. If we see that there is no fit, we will not hire that person. So everyone starting at the company should have the same values. I think that's crucial. And then engagement and the feeling of belonging, that's very important. So we have all hands meetings. We have a lot of we try to really emphasize a good feedback culture, so giving, receiving feedback. We have growth conversations, so we really want to listen to the people, listen to their strengths, what do they like, how they see themselves growing. That is very important. Helping each other, being there. that's what they say, very accessible as a CEO. Sometimes it's hard because it gives you less time to do your job sometimes. On the other hand, I think it's crucial to create that feeling of openness and transparency. We have every year an engagement survey so that we really include the people in what we do. We also have a team of geckos, so we call them the geckos. It's the team building team, but also making sure that there is a feeling of inclusion and so on. So we went just on a weekend to 𝗽liche, which was great, a lot of fun. And so we really do a lot on
is that also your approach on, because I assume your people are working rather remote, or a lot remote at client premises or at home or in Lausanne? You talked about your office in Lausanne. How do you bridge that gap between the remoteness, the headquarter?
Yes, so a part indeed is working remotely. We really encourage them to come to Ghent occasionally, which really helps. But we have a lot of online possibilities to communicate. We have a lot of meetings. I always also tell them, just pick up the phone and call each other. So we really try not to make sure that they're not isolated. So that is very important. And they're always welcome in Ghent, of course.
Okay. Maybe on the business itself, how do you make sure that you stay on top in respect of innovation? Is that through hiring people or...
Definitely hiring. So we try to focus on hiring different profiles with a different background, different fields of expertise. But we also have an innovation track. So the people in the company can spend X amount of time on innovation. So they can come up with ideas, and then we have the innovation tunnel. And actually, we developed a solution. It's related to biomarker discovery. That came out actually of an innovation idea, and we sold it to customers already. So it works. We also organize a hackathon every year. So we really stimulate the people to be innovative. That being said, it's not always easy if you have to serve clients. And
of course. I assume a lot of the innovation comes also from the request the clients are asking you, and then you start from a blank paper.
That's definitely true, absolutely. Or sometimes it's a paper that we read, or you go to a conference, you learn new stuff. So it's a mix of sources.
Okay. Very impressive. And I also read that you're a mom of 3 and a CEO of a fast-growing company. How do you keep the balance between the two?
It's not always easy, I must say. Time management, and I think my kids are very independent. So it's, they really, they're grown up quite independently. That doesn't mean that I'm never there for them, of course. But I think it's also the way they deal with mom not always being home. That's part of, or that makes it possible to combine it. And of course, I have a husband who also does something at home.
But maybe your opinion on that, because I had another podcast where I interviewed another CEO, and he said to me, "Well, my children are not that old yet. They are 7, 8 years old. And for me, it's not the quality time that matters, but the quantity time that matters with my children." What is your opinion on that?
For me, it's more the quality time. There are times that I'm not at home a lot, or when I'm at home that I'm working. They often say that. But when I have time, I really want to spend it carefully with them. I don't know if they would say the same, by the way, but that's at least my... no, but when I have to be there for them, I will be there for them. That's.
And where do you get your inspiration from besides your work, because you always need to be on top of things as a CEO of the company. What makes you deconnect? Where do you find your inspiration to push it further in your professional life?
From a professional point of view, I like just reading, listening to other people, see how other companies are doing, or just learning from my peers. Being coached, listening to a coach. So I have quite some people around me which give me inspiration for sure. From a scientific point of view, but also leadership point of view, I think that is very important. And deconnect and think about how to move on it's a challenge for me, I must admit. But we bought a vacation house in France, so that's now my goal, being there a lot and deconnect, and then you also can think and reflect. And I think it's needed. Otherwise, it's tough.
It's an interesting one on the coaching. How important is it to have a business coach or a mentor next to you as a CEO of a company? Because I see that there is a tendency now, and people are more open. If you talk to CEOs, CFOs, or other people, even in my own law firm, people who start to make a career are actively in search of mentors or coaches. How important do you find this nowadays?
For me, it's crucial. It's really crucial. It's a moment to reflect, but also to ask advice. And sometimes they can be really bold and say, this is right, this is not right. And you listen to that person. So for me, it's really crucial, and it really helps me also to be really confident, to know how to grow. It's also good to reflect on the future, where I want to be in 5 years, in 10 years. So for me, it's really important.
And where is that?
On the short term, so the coming years, it's definitely Biolizard. That's my focus. On the longer term, I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm quite sure I ever will start a new company. Another thing that I really want to do, I'm 45, I gained quite some experience in the meantime, being a mentor and being a coach for other people, and being involved in other companies and transfer my knowledge to other companies. So I think that's where I see myself growing.
Interesting. Yeah. You know that at 𝗽liche we're busy with reflecting a lot on collaborating, making sure our clients innovate constantly, strive for growth. And so one question we always ask during these podcasts is, if you would be able to partner with anyone in the world, with whom would that then be? Can be in any type of
I think I would stay within healthcare anyways, because it has a lot of impact. But that would be my tomorrows, because it's an organization helping very simple patients to get access to drugs still in development. But that can be their helping them hopefully to survive. And in my private life, I made use of them so they really have an impact. It's directly to the patient. So for me, that would be great if we could collaborate with them.
Okay. Yeah. Very interesting. Liesbeth, we talked about the biotech and ecosystem in Ghent, and there are a lot of startups launching in Ghent, but also in Brussels, in Wallonia. What do you think is important for entrepreneurs starting a startup in the biotech field? What are the tips and tricks you can give them to start their venture?
That's of course also a good question. Having a great idea, that's of course the first start, but it's a bit, if I look back to Biolizard, making sure that you have that product market fit. So if that is not there, I don't think it will work. So make sure before you even start scanning the markets, gaining a lot of information, talking to people, and then a good business plan. That's, of course, very important. And I think also the most important, not give up. It's with failures that you reach a certain goal. Also in our case, it's not always success. You also have to deal with failures. So that is important to it happens to everyone, to keep that into account. And if I look back to myself, it's also being surrounded by the right people. You cannot do everything. Of course, in the beginning, you're small. You have to do a lot yourself. But from the moment that there is room to hire people to surround you, that is crucial. Know your weaknesses, strengths, and if you're not good at something, try to find someone who can.
Well, that's an interesting point, the last one, because if you see a lot of spin-offs, and I know Biolizard is not a spin-off of a university, but it's always founded, or the idea starts with a PhD student or a doctor in a specific branch of science. How important is it to, as from the start, already make sure that the founding team or the C-level team, let's say, is complementary to each other? Because on the one hand, you have the science people. You came on board as an external CEO, let's say. Is that a factor that can for sure bring success? Or when should people start thinking about that?
In my opinion, as soon as possible. Founders often indeed are great scientists, but that doesn't mean that they're managers or that they have that business knowledge or affinity. And I think that probably is also one of our successes. I'm more a generalist, so which was definitely good from the start. But after a while, we hired a CTO, a COO first, CTO. And definitely from the technical point of view, I don't have that software knowledge. So without a CTO, we never would have been where we are right now. So the sooner the better. I think the diversity in your management team is crucial.
Is that also something investors ask when they look at the company in their investment case?
The team is, in my opinion, the number one. A strong team, a diverse team. The science is one thing, but knowing something about, or knowing a lot about finance and business plans, that's also very important.
In your segment, sales for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Liesbeth, thank you very much for your insights. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot.